as you guys can see, Pixar is my topic today. Pixar, most of us grew up at Pixar. You guys remember that most famous entrance of Pixar Studios? They have it on every Pixar film. Along with that, I don't know, it was a cowbell thing, but you just hear like the loud noise. I couldn't find that one. It was just like the THX, I believe. Yeah, they had that one as well. Yeah, the Moo. And it's one of the Pixar Studios have been one of our constants that we have in our life. We grew up with it. Pretty sure most of you guys don't know it. If you guys don't, they're the people that created Toy Story, Finding Nemo, Up, and all those wonderful child movies that even today we still watch and on Netflix or when we're trying to study but we know we don't. Alright, I'm going to go through the Pixar history first, then we're going to head over to the merchandise and all the good stuff. I call it Pixar Mania because it's everywhere. It's in your lunch bags, it's on the theaters, DVDs, all that good stuff. And we're going to finish it off with the Pixar theory. Little theory about all the Pixar movies together. Alright, so we have our Pixar history. Actually, it was once Pixar history, if you guys didn't know, it was actually once related to Star Wars. I'm not going to say it was like there was a scene in there you saw like a Woody or something. It was actually started off as George Lucas's films, computer design division, and he hired there it is, Ed Catmull for to be the head of it. Oh wait, no, there it is, Catmull. And he brought him in to be the head director there to specialize in the digital computers. They were starting to do it for Star Wars and all those good good CGI movies that are coming out. And he was from the Institute of Technology in New York. And as soon as he brought him in, I think it was 1 year later that he brought in John Lasseter to come and help him with the uprising of the film. And then with those two, both John Lasseter and Catmull together, they released this short film, an example under the George Lucas division called The Adventures of Andre and Wally B. I don't know if you guys ever seen it. It's just them with the bee and I believe Wally. They're picking on each other. So they have like little rumbles and fights. And it was one of the first actual animated computer short little film. And then 2 years later, that happened in 1984. 2 years later, you guys all know the most famous person who created Apple, Steve Jobs, actually bought off Dave Lucas's film. So he bought him off, and he was the person that created the name Pixar. So Pixar came out of that. And through the 80s, the rest of the 80s, from 1986 to the rest, they created 4 more shark films, like the Tin Toy and the little snow globe man. I forgot, I think it's like Trapped in a Snow Globe. And then later on, in 1991, they actually made a contract with Disney to produce one film-length movie, and that film-length movie came out in 1995. You guys all know it as Toy Story. And that was actually a tester for these 3 gentlemen. If that was a bust, they would have been shut down by Disney and cut off, and they would have to start with just themselves again. Probably would have made it big, but Disney always helps. So this animated by itself, it became the first animated ever long motion movie. It opened to around 362 worldwide $million, and it opened up the doors for Pixar. They were after this film, Disney gave them a 10-year contract to create all the movies that they can. 5 more movies, I believe. Alright, we're going to head over, I just discussed, we're going to head over to all the Pixar Mania that happened after the success and all the movies that came over. So let's go ahead. Pixar Mania, you guys know Bugs Life, Finding Nemo and all those. They became all great hits. None of those movies were under 150 mil, the box opening, so it was only right for Disney to show their love to them by creating attractions for most of them. You have the Monsters, Mice to the Rescue, Cars Land that recently opened. The first one that opened out of all of these was actually Bugs Land in California Adventure. And it opened to great reviews, and thus was the opening to all these. We have Pixar Mania. From the cinematography blog in the article, it was actually thanks to them that I learned that it was Cars that had the most merchandise out of all the movies sold. It was over 10 billion by the time Cars 2 came out, and so that just added on to it. You guys can only imagine how much money like separate films were. It was, I believe, it was more than 50 mil for each merchandise. And now we're going to head over to our Pixar theory. I know most people are really intrigued about it. It was actually created by a professional blog guy. His name is John Negroni, and he calls himself the Pixar detective. And he has this theory that all of these movies connect to each other somehow. And I'm going to go into how it is. I'm sorry, it's going to keep a while. So these are approximate years of each movie, and we're going to start off with Brave. They said that the magic from Brave that was released from the witch was what started off all the animals and all the talking animals. And we go over to the 19th, to the Incredible. Oh, then we're going to head over to actually Up. Up is the next thing and the theme in here. So it's from the Brave to Up. And we see Industrial Revolution about here. And there's always a company that you guys see in most of the movies. It's called B&L, and it's one of the key factors to this theory, how they're all connected. So a little thing that you can say is that, I'm not gonna say, it's sort of a time passage through time. So they're saying that in these Pixars, you're gonna see the end of humans being on Earth. You're gonna see the start of how they started off on Earth. You're going to see how robots started taking over the world, thanks to like the little digitals. The theory is that all these toys are little animatronics, and they get fed up with being alone, so they wanna take revenge on the humans, like WALL-E. So in WALL-E, you see how all the robots treat animals like toys. In the spaceship, how they're not allowed to leave or anything; they just stay there, like they do everything for them, just like a toy would, as you see. And as soon as in WALL-E, you see how they're all up in the air in the spaceship. There's a spaceship that, because Earth is so polluted by all the stuff that happened with B&L and the revolution that happened in Up, that it was unfit for humans. Thus, they were in the spaceship of WALL-E. And that's the reason why Cars, you see cars only, and you don't see humans in the movie Cars. So that's that. And then once the people come back, they come back from WALL-E, they come back and settle in a new land, and you start to see the new world in Bug's Life. The new world, you don't see as many humans in the world Bug's Life, but they're influenced by the cities and all that, because you see how they have, in the movie Bug's Life, they have a little New York City out of like trash and all that good stuff. And as going on, how they relate to the Monsters Inc., they said that after Bug's Life and all the humans, it's a couple thousand years later, you see that they believe animals were actually mutations of those magic animals that were intelligent enough, so they're mutations, and that's just what the monsters are. They're just animals that got mutated, and they're all right here. And then another thing is this actually connects back to the 16th century. Because it said that Boo in Monsters Inc. is actually the witch, and she's looking for Celia through magic. That's how the magic is released, so it's all together. And the way the Incredibles fit in is that Syndrome was actually the creator of the computers, the animatronics. So he was like, they said that he was the maker of like the toys and all the robots that went rogue, like the one in Incredibles that went smart enough. All right. So, and there you go, that's a little brief thing of that. There you go. And then there's a quote from John Lasseter. He's one of the main persons of Pixar. He's actually a big kid at heart, and he just says everything I do and everything Pixar does is based on what's best for quality impact.